Hello, class. Happy Monday. I am dropping an additional resource for you. I know that you have probably seen the handout for Unit 2 with some notes and the PowerPoint in your Unit 2 folder, but I wanted to walk you through a couple of things with this PowerPoint. Um, and before I do that, I just wanted to again emphasize I feel like I'm kind of nagging at this point, but I need to be the squeaky wheel here. I really need to be the what we would call chief reminding officer. There's only a few of you in this class, and so your participation is very critical. This is a class that really, honestly, should not be terribly challenging as it goes with, let's just say if you rated all your classes, right? This is a core class that shouldn't be one of your most challenging. So I'm really hopeful that everyone will take advantage of this opportunity to complete a class with an A, because I really think that's possible for each of you. You really just have got to spend some time with this every week. So you've signed up for the class, you want to complete this program. I just really encourage you to do some reflection on what that looks like for you as far as in your schedule weekly, because it is very important to spend time with the class so that you can complete the activities. You'll feel so much better once you do it. It's really not, in this case, I don't think about, studying and doing the work and not making good grade. It's really a simple thing of putting one foot in front of the other and the small steps of completing the work. And what I find in life is those who are most successful are not the ones who are necessarily the most talented. It's the people who have good habits. You can even look at people who are famous, right? Like superstars who sing or who are comedians or who are actors. A lot of them are, a football star. A lot of these people are not necessarily the most talented person in the world. They have talent, but they also have good habits. They practice, they have a schedule, they have discipline, perseverance, stamina, all of those things. So I just really encourage you to really think about those small steps every day that's going to help you be successful. So that's my soapbox for the day, or for the week. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. You'll see my face probably move around a little bit just to make sure it's not in the way of things like it is right now. So let me just move this up here. So what we're talking about this week is markdowns and pricing strategies. So you'll see that all through the discussion boards, and you'll see that because there's only a few of you, and I wanted to make sure that each of you who do participate have an opportunity to not only write one discussion board, but have your two touch points is what I call them for replies. I have posted 2 posts underneath that DB for the week, and it relates to markdowns and pricing strategies. So let's just dig into that a little bit and see what we're talking about. So really here what we're saying is, first, why do even businesses use markdown strategies? Here's a couple of different reasons. It's not just, we have lots of things and we need to sell it, or we want to promote a lot of business. It's really used proactively and reactively for a variety of reasons. And here are the 4 key ones. I won't read these to you, but you can see that it's about, yes, inventory management, but also about attracting customers. It could be seasonal, and it's like a promotional strategy. So people look for promotions. People tend to wait and shop during certain times of the year. So for example, Labor Day, sometimes people will wait and shop during Labor Day, thinking that they're going to get a good deal, and retailers know this. Or it could just be about efficiency, right? Because they need some cash flow, so they need to quickly get some cash, and so they're going to mark down some things to get that business flowing for that time period. So how do you actually compute a markdown? Again, you'll see this in the discussion board and even some practice activities on top of those practice activities that you have in your McGraw-Hill assignments for the week. Here's essentially what a markdown is. It's your definition, right? So it's a money reduction, and it's based on a percentage. And there's an example here for you. And again, it really has key important factors in business. Is helping them be competitive and really maintain that edge. So I'll give you a minute to look down at that. That's just a simple example so you can kind of have the math in your head. So how does technology play into this? I really thought it was important for us to talk about the technology because a lot of times we kind of take things for granted, whether we're doing, we either kind of see it one way or the other, right? We're either computing things manually or we're using technology. But I think it's important to really dig deeper into technology and talk about why it matters. It's not just a helpful to, nice to have, but really there's a lot of advantages and importance for this in business, and so it would be good for us to have that as a talking point for this week. And so what I wanted to talk to you about is that not only is it going to improve efficiency, it's really could be the difference between a business succeeding or not, right? Because you can do something not just faster but better. Accuracy and reliability. So just think about inventory, right? How much inventory, how much control do you have of people stealing or accidentally giving things away? All of that impacts a business's bottom line. And then, of course, there's some career advantages. And so this is something that you would want to put on your resume. Any type of technology, any type of business math sense that you have, that's going to make you more competitive in the workplace. But of course, we want to have that human oversight, right? So the best thing to have is both the human and the technology. You can't have one without the other without forfeiting some bit of accuracy. And so this just talks about the need for the human and how there can still be errors. You can see here that if there's a spreadsheet error, of course, and a lot of times we're talking about technology like a piece of equipment or a computer, but a spreadsheet is a piece of technology too. And here it just talks about how a spreadsheet could be set up wrong, and you have massive amounts of data going to a spreadsheet, then you have a mistake. That could be a huge issue for a business. In the healthcare world, as I get this next slide set up, just think about the healthcare implementation implications. Sorry, couldn't get that word out. Think about inventory management with medication or dosage, patients, hours, like the hours that people work. There's just all kinds of things that you can use business quote unquote technology for. It's not just the machinery. Now, I did want to go ahead and talk about simple interest. So this is a huge shift, totally different topic, but this is something that you're going to be exploring in your chapter readings throughout this week and next week. So I wanted to go ahead and give you some things that you need to have. I would maybe even print this page in front of me if I were you and just have it handy. If you were in my college math class, algebra, we talk about visuals, right? Like a math notebook, and having visuals in front of you helps you to manage your work because it's hard to navigate all the different screens and things of that nature. So sometimes it helps just to have a printed thing in front of you. So of course you don't have to memorize this, but having it in front of you helps you quickly access it when you're computing problems and things of that nature. So this is definitely one, and I'll move my face out that last definition there. So we're talking about what is simple interest. And this could also have some real life implications, which of course we'll talk about. I believe it's next week as well. So I'll give you a minute to read and look at this. And of course you see your formula. Here's another example. And so examples are really important. I would print this one out maybe to have the example, because if you're just changing the numbers, once you understand the calculation, then you can just change the numbers out. So I always like to use a super easy example. And then that way when I'm doing problems, I just replace the numbers. Oops, went too fast. So we were talking about, and I apologize if I skipped past that. Let me just point this out. So we were talking about here simple interest. It's really important to know the difference between this in real world. There's probably lots of things where you might have simple interest calculated, and then there's where you have compound interest. And so when you're making financial decisions or business decisions, say you're a business leader or manager, or you start your own business, it's really important, whether it's personal or professional, that you understand the difference between simple interest and compound interest. I keep hitting that button too fast. So I'll move my face a little bit, and I'm going to give you a chance to look at this. So we're talking about compound interest here. Just giving you a moment to read. And of course, compound interest is what you want if you are trying to save money. It's not what you want if you're paying money. So when we talk about the applications in finance, of course, it's a positive if to have compound interest if it's a savings account or an investment account, but definitely not a positive for a credit card, which is why it's so hard for people to get out of credit card debt. So that's a preview of next week's work. It kind of has one foot in both weeks, Unit 2 and Unit 3. But then you also have the information for this week, and I'll just go back and show you that one more time, where we're talking about markdowns. That's really the key topic that we're talking about this week, especially in the discussion board. So finally, as we get ready to close out, I want to show you where this lives, just in case you didn't see it. So I'm going to go back into your class. I'm in student preview. So when you go into your class, and I'll move my face out of the way here, you obviously have your announcements, and then you have your content. Your content is really the meat or the heart of the class. And we're in Unit 2, so of course you have your little drop down that we've looked at before in a prior video and in our live session. So you've got your Unit 2 PowerPoint, which is what I just went over with you here. So you can download that, you can print it, make yourself a little flashcard or a visual. And then I also have some notes here. So the notes and the PowerPoint go together. It's just two different ways to view it. It might make it easier one way or the other. It just depends on what kind of learner or how it works for you. So I put a Word document and the PowerPoint there for you. So you have three things. You have the notes, you have the PowerPoint, and you have this video. Alrighty, well, I certainly wish you much success. I'll check back in with you at the end of the week. Just really want to make sure that you guys know that what you're doing is important, right? It's important for yourself. And so stay committed to yourself. Don't take your eye off the ball, okay? I'm rooting for you. Talk soon. Bye.